Nestled in a leafy London suburb, the Red Lion and Sun pub fears financial ruin this winter as its energy costs surge, just as it had been hoping to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. The pub's annual energy bill is set to leap from $18,500 to $76,000 a year. And it's not the only one. Small businesses negotiating new energy contracts with suppliers face a 4- or 5-fold increase compared with prices negotiated 2 years ago, according to energy analyst Cornwall Insight. James Cuthbertson, a director of the Frisco Group, which manages the pub, said 70% of publicans aren't going to make it through the winter unless something is done about these prices.
Government have to react by introducing a price cap on businesses and business energy, and they also have to, anyone that's signed up to these deals, which are frankly unsustainable but you have no choice, need to retrospectively go back and make good. They need to make good so that's secure. Talking about putting VAT down to 5% it's a distraction. Deal with the energy, that's the biggest thing we face right now. We'll deal with the rest, but sort energy, sort it now, and bring in a price cap and make it fair and make it so that we can actually continue to run our business.
The spike in costs for businesses is greater than that faced by households, whose tariffs are predicted to rise 3-fold over this period. British gas prices have more than doubled since Russia invaded Ukraine in February and are 15 times higher than 2 years ago. Across Britain, pubs must make difficult choices, such as raising prices, reducing hours, or even closing altogether, Cuthbertson said. Surging consumer price inflation hit a 40-year high of 10.1% in July and is set to rise further. This will also limit the amount of money Brits will have to spend on going to the pub. The Bank of England forecasts Britain's economy will slip into recession later this year and remain there throughout 2023.
Lufthansa said it would do everything possible to minimise the effects of a pilot strike due to begin Friday. A key union said late Wednesday that pay talks had failed with the German carrier. It also said the strike would affect both passenger and cargo services. One union representative said they had not received a sufficient offer, which they called a sobering and missed opportunity. The union wants a 5.5% rise this year for its more than 5,000 pilots. Demands also include automatic inflation compensation thereafter. Lufthansa said its offer was good and balanced. The airline had offered around $900 more in pay per month in 2 stages over an 18-month term. It also offered agreement guaranteeing cockpit staff a minimum fleet size. Strikes and staff shortages have forced airlines to cancel thousands of flights this summer. Hours-long queues have been a feature at major airports.
A Malaysian court on Thursday sentenced Rosmah Mansor, the wife of former Prime Minister Najib Razak, to a decade in prison for seeking and receiving bribes in exchange for government contracts. It came just days after her husband was jailed for corruption. Rosmah will also have to pay a fine of over $216 million over 3 bribery charges, the judge at Kuala Lumpur High Court said. He added that the prosecution proved their case beyond reasonable doubt. The judge granted her a stay of sentence, so Rosmah will not go to jail on Thursday. She can appeal the decision in 2 higher courts. Rosmah addressed the judge tearfully immediately after the verdict. She said, "Nobody saw me taking the money, nobody saw me counting the money, but if that's the conclusion, I leave it to God." The former First Lady was seen as a powerful figure behind Najib. She's been widely scorned in Malaysia for her extravagant lifestyle and penchant for luxury bags. The 70-year-old had pleaded not guilty to 3 charges of soliciting and receiving bribes.
A UN inspection team pressed on with their visit to Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant on Thursday, despite more fighting in the area. This video, obtained by Reuters, is said to show an explosion in Enerhodar, the town where the power plant is located. The delegation from the International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA, was left waiting at a Ukrainian checkpoint amid fresh shelling around the plant. Russia's defense ministry says it thwarted an attempt by a Ukrainian sabotage group to seize the plant on Thursday in what it called a provocation aimed at disrupting the site's inspection. Reuters journalists were with the IAEA's convoy but were ordered to turn back for their safety. This was the IAEA's Director General, Rafael Grossi.
We are moving. We are aware of the current situation. There has been increased military activity, including this morning. Until very recently, a few minutes ago, I have been briefed by the Ukrainian regional military commander here about that and the inherent risks. But weighing the pros and cons, and having come so far, we are not stopping. We are moving now.
Kyiv and Moscow have accused each other of trying to sabotage the inspection, which comes amid international concern about the safety of the nuclear plant. Kyiv says one of its reactors was shut down by Thursday's shelling. Reuters could not immediately verify the reports. Conditions at what is Europe's largest nuclear plant have been unravelling for weeks, with both sides trading blame for strikes. Anatoly Skaletsky lives in Enerhodar. It was hit by shelling on Wednesday.
It's enough to blow one nuclear waste container and there will be radiation. It won't be pretty for Ukraine, Russia, or Europe.
On Wednesday, authorities in Zaporizhzhia released video showing drills taking place in the event of radiation fallout. Elsewhere, both sides have claimed battlefield successes amid a new Ukrainian push to recapture territory in the south. Kyiv have described the offensive as a slow process. But Moscow has denied reports of Ukrainian progress and said its troops had routed Ukrainian forces. Reuters was unable to verify the battlefield reports.
Zambia took a crucial step closer on Wednesday to restructuring its debts and rebuilding its ravaged economy. The International Monetary Fund said in a statement that it had approved a $1.3 billion 38-month loan program with the southern African country. Zambia has suffered at the hands of economic mismanagement and COVID-19. In 2020, it became the first pandemic-era sovereign default, buckling under a debt burden of more than 120% of GDP. In late July, creditors, led by France and China, pledged to renegotiate Zambia's debts. That was welcomed by IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva as clearing the way for the new IMF program. On Wednesday, Georgieva said Zambia continues to face profound challenges reflected in high poverty levels and low growth. The extended credit facility program, she added, would aim to restore macroeconomic stability and foster higher, resilient and more inclusive growth. The IMF said the funding arrangement is equivalent to 100% of Zambia's quota or shareholding in the fund. Wednesday's approval, the IMF said, will also unlock an immediate disbursement of about $185 million.